My husband doesn't seem interested in Thanksgiving, so I'm excluding him.
You should cook him and add him to the table.
I, 33 female, and my husband, 42 male, have been together for 10 years, married for almost 4, and have loved together for 8. We usually spend Thanksgiving with my parents, who live down the road, and Christmas with his mom, who lives 3 hours away. By the way, this comes from One Confection 6363, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, in the past, he had a very demanding job, worked 50+ hours a week, and was on call at all times. Meanwhile, I work an office job, set schedule, and holidays off. I learned to cook Thanksgiving dinner for us all, and always did the shopping. This year, however, my husband quit his demanding job a few months ago that was causing a lot of mental health issues and found a new job in the same field that he loves. It's lower pay and part-time, but he makes up for it financially with his eBay account, which he makes a decent amount off of. I've been thinking about Thanksgiving, but hadn't been able to get to the store like I usually do every year because on top of my job, I'm taking college classes this semester, trying to start on my bachelor's degree. Bless, last week I came down sick with a sinus infection and was out from Monday night through Sunday. I'm still feeling stuffy and congested, but I've been going to work and wearing a mask. I asked my husband yesterday to please go to the store and get something, anything for Thanksgiving. I worked until 8, and when I got home, he was playing video games and said he forgot. But he showed me he went to the little Italian grocers next door for lunch to get a sub and picked up cranberry sauce. He could have gotten the other items for Thanksgiving right there, yeah, but it was too crowded. So after he got his sub, he left. I know how long that queue takes to get your sub. While he was waiting for his number to be called, he could have easily walked around and picked up the other items. So today he has a half day at work, so I asked him this morning if he could please go to the store once he gets off to get what we need for Thanksgiving. And he snapped at me, saying that this wasn't all his fault and we both forgot. And he doesn't like how I'm telling him, you need to do this, and you need to do that. Which I didn't. I asked politely. And now he doesn't even want to do Thanksgiving because of all the pressure he feels. So I'm going to call my parents, ask them to go to the store and pick up what they can for a small Thanksgiving and spend it with them. He doesn't want to do Thanksgiving, fine, but my parents will not be left in the lurch because of his attitude. So am I the a-hole? How? And there's an update.
I mean, was there an agreement for you to get the food instead of him? It doesn't sound like it.
Sounds like he agreed to get the food, and then he didn't get the food. So
I got the sauce.
I got the sauce, though.
I got the cranberry sauce.
But there is an update 3 days later. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for all the comments I received about my husband not buying groceries. A little clarification for everyone. Our ages have never been an issue. I pursued him, not the other way around. And no, it's not daddy issues. I have a healthy relationship with my dad. I do not do all the housework and cooking. Typically, he is actually the one that cooks because he's much better at it than I am. We will usually do grocery shopping together. He cooks, and I clean for our everyday meals. So the workload is shared. It was just for holiday meals. I did it all in the past because he typically had to go to work on Thanksgiving, but I'm always off. As some people pointed out, it reeks of depression on his part. And yes, it does, because he has actually been diagnosed with depression years ago. He's on medication, but refuses to see a therapist to actually talk things out, so I am usually much more understanding. But there's only so much that I can take as well. I'm only human, too. Okay, now into what you all actually want, the update. That morning, after making the post, I finished getting ready for work, called my parents, and asked them to pick up some groceries, which I would pick up from them on my way home from work. I called my husband, he was already at work, and told him that I was asking my parents to pick up groceries, so don't worry about it. He could hear the upset tone in my voice and asked, what was wrong? I told him that I was upset over this morning, but we would talk about it later. I faltered and started talking more, but it started to turn into an argument over the phone again. He got upset that I was doing this while he was at work, but I reminded him that he was the one who brought it up. I never told him that he was banned from Thanksgiving. I wanted to wait to see if he would fix the attitude because for me, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And it's about being thankful for what you do have, not focusing on what's missing. I really didn't want to do it without him, but I was prepared to in case he didn't check himself. After we hung up and I got to work, as I pulled into the garage, he texted saying, "I love you, can we stop until we talk?" Which I took to mean a stop arguing, so we did. I went through my day at work, and we were really busy since we are closed Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I work with the public and children, and it was an exhausting day. Sometime around 3, he texted me a picture of the huge stack of his eBay sales that he packed up and was taking to the post office. I didn't see it until I got off work, though. When I got off at 5, I walked back to the garage with my coworkers, got in the car, and did my usual routine of texting him that I was leaving work. He never asked that I do this. I choose to for personal safety since I work downtown, so don't go jump into conclusions saying he's controlling or whatever. My parents live about 5 minutes from my work, so I swung by their place to get what they picked up. Dad picked up 2 small, pre-cooked smoked turkeys. He told me they were buy one, get one. Broccoli, croissant rolls, and pre-cooked au gratin potatoes. Then, as I was leaving my parents, my husband called. I told him that I was leaving Mom and Dad's and what they got for Thanksgiving dinner. He then told me that he went to the store and also got food for Thanksgiving dinner. I was a little peeved because that means he didn't listen when I told him my parents were doing the shopping, but also was relieved that he realized his mistake and tried to fix it. When I got home, we both waited to cool down before talking. He picked up the same smoked turkey my dad got, but thankfully only one. He also got potatoes, 2 different types of stuffing, yams, marshmallows, king Hawaiian rolls, green beans, cream of mushroom soup, heavy whipping cream, shredded cheese, and a pumpkin pie. He also picked up a few regular things we needed for the house, like cases of water and milk. Then we sat down and had a long discussion. It did devolve into an argument at one point because he kept trying to lighten the mood with jokes, but I just wasn't ready for that yet. Eventually, he came in and said he was sorry, he loved me, and he really did want to talk. I asked him if he was ready to be serious, and he said yes. I love his goofy randomness. It's part of why I chose him, but there's a time and place for it.
Are you serious?
Are you serious
right now?
We talked it all through. Now he feels like nothing he does is good enough because I always find something else to nitpick.
Yeah, not even his jokes are good enough.
But now you don't even like my jokes.
Okay.
He took care of me while I was sick and made sure I wasn't wanting for anything the entire time I was stuck in bed. His eBay account does sell a lot because he puts a lot of effort into posting on there. And he's managed to keep a high rating because he always sends out packages quickly. He will usually box and ship about 5 to 10 packages a day. He also said how he just doesn't care for Thanksgiving anymore because we are pretty much the black sheep of every extended family on both sides. He would be more excited if it were more people rather than just the 4 of us. And it's a lot of work for just 4 people. I told him that it wasn't that he doesn't do enough, but it's specifically when he neglects to do the favors I ask of him or forgets them that makes me feel like I'm not important enough to him. It's several little things here and there that really don't matter, but all end up stacking up, and this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. I know all about forgetting. I have ADHD and forget all the time. But he has always helped me manage it by telling me to put reminders or alarms on my phone, or even with my classwork this semester, since it's all online before we start watching a movie together, or I start playing my video game. He'll ask me if I have any classwork that needs to be done. Because of his reminders, I have only been late with 2 assignments this semester. Both were because I was sick. After talking it out, we both seemed to have a better understanding of each other. I again told him how important Thanksgiving is for me, and that it doesn't matter that it's only the 4 of us, because when I was growing up, it was just my sister, my parents, and me. And it's more about the principle of being together and thankful for what we do have. It seems like everything's going really well.
Seems like we've kind of recovered. We've pivoted and
Yeah.
recovered a little bit here.
We
huh?
did a little and now we've got 3 turkeys, a little bit of love for each other, and a whole lot of understanding.
4 turkeys if you count OP's partner.
Oh, 5 turkeys if they went bowling and they got a turkey.
Well, you got to get 3 strikes in a row for that.
Yeah.
All right. It takes a consummate professional.
Thanksgiving morning, we watched the parade in bed. Then we got up and cleaned off the dining room table together which was so overcrowded due to his depression and my ADHD. We haven't eaten on it in about a month. After we did that, some of the boys messaged him to get online as there was a special Thanksgiving event in-game. He did, but only enough to complete the missions and got right off.
Yo, they're giving away digital turkeys. You gotta get on right now.
Why are the boys playing games? Why they got a Thanksgiving game?
Because there's a limited edition Thanksgiving hat that you can win if you play in the game and you do the thing.
Turkeys. I always wanted to wear a turkey on my head.
I've always wanted this. They know that.
While he did that, I peeled and jabbed the potatoes and started to boil them. Then I put together the green bean casserole, croissant rolls, and turned the oven on to preheat. After he got off his game, I asked him to do the dishes that I'd accumulated while I was cooking. Then I got to sit down and he started on the sweet potato casserole stuffing and got the turkey out of the fridge to warm up. How many of the turkeys did you get out? Just one or all three?
Probably 4.
Yeah, you got an extra turkey, just in case.
They found one in the back.
Then he put the stuffing and the turkey into the oven to warm and finished with dinner while I went to pick up my parents. This is so specific and detailed that I keep thinking that something is going to happen.
And nothing does.
But I'm wondering if this is just
dinner.
Nice and we're getting a really detailed account of Thanksgiving dinner. Because I'm waiting for it to be and then he did this and refused, but it's not coming yet.
And then he threw the turkey into the backyard and said, "Let the wolves feast."
By the time I brought them back, it was all ready. I helped to set the table and we had a very nice Thanksgiving together. Okay, so it was all good. And you know what else is good? Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Croissant. Yeah, sometimes all it takes is a nice croissant.
It's true.
To bring people together, you know?
It's true.
Or
nice little Thanksgiving
3
dinner.
turkeys.
3 turkeys always brings people together. It's just the facts. But good job communicating. This all worked out really well, and you had a nice dinner. So
I'll tell you one thing. I sure am thankful that this turned out to be a nice story.
Me too. And OP continues, at the end of the night, after I had taken my parents home and we were just by ourselves again, he asked if I had a good Thanksgiving. And I told him yes, and asked if he did too. He also said yes. We talked some more about how we can better plan for next year. Overall, I would have been the a-hole if I had truly excluded him, but he was also the a-hole for snapping over something that, as adults, we should just suck up and do. Thank you to everyone for your comments. It really helped me see the bigger picture. Some of your comments were way off and ridiculous, though, so it helped me to laugh about the situation and see that it wasn't as bad as my rejection sensitivity was making it out to be. He's not cheating, he's not useless and lazy, and he by no means is a self-absorbed person. We both just have things we need to work on as human beings, but it's despite both of our faults that we still love each other and are able to make it through. So again, thank you.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Sometimes people on the internet, when they're alone and they comment something on a thread, they'll just be like, well, this person clearly is not perfect, so you should leave them, you idiot.
Yeah.
And it's just not always the right advice.
Oh, and we just have to take all of that advice that we get on Reddit with a grain of salt.
My husband wants to raise his orphaned nephews, but I don't.
Jeez, are you that lady from Annie?
My husband, 32 male, and I, 28 female, have been married for 2 years, together for 5. Until now, I would have said that we had the perfect relationship, but right now it seems like that is over, and I'm not sure who the a-hole is, if anyone. By the way, this comes from user Mountain Shadow 769. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
And we are here to give you good advice goofily, because we're a bunch of good little goofballs, but we only know what we would do. We don't know everything, but you might. So tell us what you would do in the comments. I grew up in a really bad and neglectful situation. I have been to therapy and done the work, but there are still some issues that are just going to be permanent, I think. The 2 relevant ones here are that I need to have a calm, safe living space that is mine to function, and I do not do well around children. I do not hate children, but I was forced into raising 7 siblings and step-siblings when I was still a kid myself. I will never be responsible for another kid for as long as I live. I have had my tubes removed to make absolutely sure there will never be an oops. My husband has known this since the beginning and does not want children as well. His family situation is also not great, but he is still involved with them, mostly for his mom and nephew's sake. About a month ago, sister-in-law and her partner passed away. The boys were visiting mother-in-law, thankfully. Mother-in-law, the boys, and my husband are devastated. Sister-in-law was not my favorite person in the world, but nobody deserves that, and I am trying to be supportive of their grief. The problem is that there is nowhere for the boys to go. They were staying with mother-in-law, but her health is so poor that DHR decided she's not stable enough to have custody. Their father's family does not have anything to do with them. My husband has a younger brother, but he has a substance use issue and is not in a good place to take on 2 kids. That leaves my husband and me as the only real family placement option. My husband is not thrilled about bringing kids into the situation, but he feels like he has to keep them out of foster care, which I understand. Here is the problem. I absolutely do not want these kids living under the same roof as me. It is a PTSD trigger, but also they are understandably, for their situation, not the best behaved kids to start with. Add some trauma onto that, and these kids are going to need a lot of help. My husband swears that he will do everything for them, but I think he's being unrealistic. We got into a really nasty argument about it, and he said that this is a make or break moment for the marriage because he's not backing down and he will take the kids and divorce me if he has to. Our house was mine before we got married. I inherited it from my grandmother. I insisted on a prenup to protect it when we got married. My husband has a health issue that makes full-time work difficult, and he struggled at the best of times before we got married. If we split up, his chances of finding an affordable place to live nearby in the current market are not good. He is not quite disabled enough to receive disability. Frankly, if I and the house were not part of the bargain, I'm not sure that DHR would place the kids with him. Where I might be the a-hole is that after he threw the D word at me, I told him that in that case, he would need to move out of my house because he would no longer be welcome. Go back to working full-time because I would not be bankrolling an ex, and good luck taking care of 2 traumatized kids with his health, much lower income, and without stable housing. I think it had not occurred to him just how much he would lose access to because we have always just shared without thinking about it. He's not speaking to me right now, and mother-in-law called and read me the Riot Act for financial abuse and abandoning family. I feel for the nephews, I really do, but I am not the person those kids need right now, and I feel like I was very clear from the beginning that I would never be okay taking care of kids or living with them. I think we're cooked either way at this point, but am I the a-hole? And there's an edit.
I don't think it's fair for your in-laws to call you and say, oh, financial abuse. It's your money. You're not saying I'm taking away now. You're saying if we were to divorce, you would no longer have access to that.
Yeah,
which
I mean,
is
you didn't
true.
take any steps to, like,
No.
lock him out
No.
of being able to make his own money or access certain,
Absolutely not.
you didn't do any of that. And
Yeah.
you keeping the house was decided in a prenup, which
Yeah.
you both agreed to. So doesn't sound like it to
Yeah.
me. Doesn't sound very up.
Just seems like a very tricky situation. A lot of people are mentioning, he has health issues, but he's going to take care of the kids. How is that going to work? I think he potentially needs to look into, everything that would go into raising these kids to see if he is the best option for them. If he were just doing it individually, because you are not on board.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't work out that way if he had no residence or place to stay or live, because I doubt he'd be able to afford anything for enough space for 2 children and himself on part-time work. But there is an edit. There's a lot of responses, and I'm trying to get to them all. I'm taking a PTO day to deal with some of this stuff and get myself back together. As a lot of you have said, there is no way back from this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and accept that now instead of dragging it out. The trust is gone. I made an appointment with a lawyer this morning, and from what I have read, an uncontested divorce could go pretty quickly and smoothly if we do not squabble over money. That's a pretty big if there, OP. I do not have any interest in screwing him over, but I also will not be screwed over. I hate it. I wish this was not happening, but I have worked way too hard for a stable life to flush it down the toilet. I'm going to freeze my credit and lock down the accounts today in case he or mother-in-law get ideas, and have the talk tonight. I'm also about to call the case manager contact at DHR and explain the situation so it's on record and they can start making a plan that does not include me as part of the equation. I am debating how much help I'm going to continue providing. I will continue to help my husband while he lives here, but I was also doing a lot to help out mother-in-law with things her health makes difficult and allow her to put her energy towards the kids right now. And I think that is going to stop since it is not appreciated and the relationship is over. As far as the whole looking after family thing, I do not believe in family. Family has done more harm to me than anything else in this world and provided not a single benefit, so I do not put any value on blood or relations.
Dang.
I mean,
you need it's totally fair for you to have had your experiences, but like clearly you are still dealing with massive amounts of PTSD and trauma. I feel like she probably would already be going to therapy if she says that she's experienced that. But if you're not, definitely go.
I do what I can when I can for others, but I know in the same circumstance, none of these people would ever help me, either because they cannot or they just would not care that much. So just spare me the whole, they're your family stuff, please. That world does not hit the same way for me that it does for you. I will update once I have talked to my husband and figured out a path forward. Thanks for the input, even if some of you think I am a monster. There's a second edit. Well, that was a rough night. TLDR, now he does not want a divorce and wants to figure something out. The stress of the whole situation is pushing him into a flare, so I'm giving him some grace. But I told him that we will not go back to exactly the way things were before the D word. No matter what happens now, I do not trust him. He needs to sit down with the social worker, look at the facts, and make a call on his own. I have the lawyer's recommendations for an amicable divorce filing we can discuss if he decides on that route. His mom said some unforgivable things in her little tirade, so the things I was doing to help her stop now. Whatever happens, I will make sure he has health insurance until he can make other arrangements. I would be willing to discuss all of this in counseling with him while we try to sort it out, but for now, one of us is moving into the spare room, or he can go stay with his mom. He's upset, but agreed. It's probably going to take some time to get a resolution, but I will try to post again down the road once the situation settles out and there is an update.
Yeah, it seems like OP is leaning towards divorce regardless of, whether or not he changed his mind. Which is fair because you can't really put that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, once you said it, it's on the table now.
No, it exists. I understand partially why he said it, because he clearly cares about those kids and wants to make sure they have someone, like some family. But yeah, I also understand why she's reacting like this. So it's just kind of, you set your priorities and now you're going to have to deal with those consequences.
True that. Update. 2 weeks later. Mother-in-law lost her mind. Everyone is mad. The bad news is that DHR decided my significant other's medical situation rules him out as a primary guardian for the kids. He would not be able to adequately care for them during a flare. Same for his mom. They have the same condition. He is worse than hers, but hers is more advanced. The good news is that the social worker talked the paternal relatives into agreeing to a DNA test. They did not believe that the kids were really my sister-in-law's partners, and he and sister-in-law were keeping the situation on the down low because he was married, so they never established legal paternity. DNA was a match, so the grandparents on that side are taking the kid. What that means as far as visitation for my SO and mother-in-law is still being hashed out, but the whole thing has been de-escalated a lot thanks to a really competent case manager. As far as the divorce, I'm going ahead with it and filing this week. He's moved back in with his mom. They are salty about it, but that is to be expected. I still love him and wish him the best, but I am done. His family is too much drama, and I do not trust him the way that I did before this. Given that we were only married 2 years and the house is mine from before the marriage, and protected, it should be a clean break. And by the way, it's going to break your mind cleanly when you see how many episodes with stories just like this one we have on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Search OK Storytime and you can find the near unlimited archive of stories. There's a little bit more of this story left. You know? Yeah, at least the kids got somewhere to live.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all are staying together, but
They're not.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not.
they're not.
They
I don't
are
know
not.
I don't know if you can figure that out. Doesn't seem like it. But at least the kids are staying together and they're getting a home.
Hopefully the grandparents are, the good
Good.
kind. They're like SpongeBob's parents.
Hopefully.
Yes. Okay, while I missed him being here, I am already feeling less stressed with him gone, and I did not realize that had been creeping up on me for a while. I think I'm done with romantic relationships, at least for a good long while, so I'm going to focus on my career and some fun stuff I've not had time to do since taking on a caretaker role. Thank you to those that offered support and advice. It sucks that any of this happened to begin with, but I think it is ending about as well as it could at this point. I will be dropping contact with my ex's family, so I doubt I'll have anything else to update. Good for you. What condition does your ex have? I was guessing multiple sclerosis. I was guessing MS. After what his mother said to you, I would have been flat out done as well. You have shown these people nothing but kindness, and the moment you push back, they showed you who they truly are. His family is not just drama. They are butt birds. They are always going to be butt birds. Opie says they have MS and myasthenia gravis. He has the childhood onset variant, so he's a lot more debilitated, but his mom's has progressed more. It is managed as well as it can be, but I still would not wish it on my worst enemy. And that
There you go.
is the end of that story.
I planned to donate my old clothes, and it made my husband furious.
Those are my favorite clothes of all time. Please, no, God, no.
Female 27, live with my husband, male 28. We've been together for 8 years, living together for 6, and married for 2. By the way, this comes from Top Crab 9347, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I am the top crab, Dakota.
OP says, recently I got sick and was given 2 weeks off work to recover. A few days in, I felt a bit more energized and decided to slowly begin deep cleaning whenever I felt up to it, mostly to prepare for Christmas and have a sparkling clean house for New Year's. We cleaned daily, but the place needed a more thorough deep cleaning, and we never really have the time or energy with work. We usually use the first weekend of December to deep clean, so I thought I'd just get a head start on a few rooms earlier. On Wednesday, I tackled the bedroom and realized how many clothes I have that I just haven't worn in years, or that are beyond repair. The clothes I haven't worn in a few years were put aside, and the very few items of clothes beyond repair were tossed, maybe about 6 things that were just unwearable. I left the bags of clothes in the storage closet next to the front door so I could grab them whenever I was headed to town to donate them. And I just moved on with tidying. I had maybe 3 bags of clothes to donate, since I rarely go through my clothes with the intention of getting rid of them. My husband saw the bags the next day and asked me about them. I explained they would be donated, and he just laughed and said, yeah, right. I asked what he meant, and he told me I spend so much money on clothes, and now I'm just throwing them out. I told him I haven't worn them in a while, so they're being donated. He told me I'm being ridiculous, and that if I'm going to spend over 100 euros on singular items of clothing, then I either need to get my money's worth and wear them more often or return them. I pointed out that all the clothes being donated are from 5 to 11 years ago, especially the ones from when I was 18 to 23, and they were all worn many times and loved, but they don't serve me and any purpose now. He told me to save them for our daughters. I said, we don't have any children besides her cat. I don't think Hollyworld wants my old Levi's that are 2 sizes too small for me. He probably wouldn't wear my old clubbing dresses either. My husband then told me I shouldn't spend so much on clothes if they'll be thrown out one day. And then he left the room. Today, he's still super cold with me. He'll answer with 1 or 2 words at most and keeps muttering things like, I haven't worn this summer coat in a month. Maybe I should throw it out. Anytime I pass him, and it's maddening because obviously we're in winter now and it's freezing. I hope you're not wearing a light jacket outside. I do spend a lot of money on clothes every few months, but usually I just buy 1 or 2 things, maybe 6 to 10 things a year. And I take my clothes to the seamstress and to be dry cleaned if needed. It's not like I'm doing the food shop wearing head to toe Balmain, putting on Chanel to go to the post office, trying to decide what archival chrome hearts I'm going to wear to the pub, or going to work in the latest Miu Miu. My husband is usually extremely sensible, so I'm trying to get some outside perspective on whether I'm the a-hole here. Important things to add. I'm literally only donating what doesn't fit me. I kept a few sentimental things, but everything being donated just doesn't physically fit me. I bought these things with my own money. We pool finances and have a budget plan, but we put money aside into 2 separate funds for each of us individually each month to spend on the things or experiences we enjoy individually. I maybe spend 2,500 to 4,000 euros a year, depending. I also spend about 50 euros monthly on upkeep of the clothes, things like dry cleaning, and the seamstress on the rare occasion. We're not struggling with money at all. We both work and earn above living wage and moved to a cheaper town since I got a job offer here. The amount I earn is the same, but everything's lower in price. My husband works from home. Technically, we have more disposable income since moving.
So my theory at this point is that if you're spending probably close to 400 euros per item of clothing that you're buying per year at this point, and you're giving away old stuff that's probably not as valuable as that from the sound of it, but I bet your husband is upset at the way that you buy clothes and doesn't know how to say it properly.
I don't think OP's spending 400. The 2,500.
Well, they said the range was 25 to 4, and that they buy it, but they buy about 10 to 12 pieces per year.
Yeah, but that's for all funds. That's not just for clothes, to be clear.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It
is
says
that what that said?
we put money aside into 2 separate funds for each of us individually each month to spend on the things or experiences we enjoy individually. So OP is spending 2,500 to 4,000 on everything like non-essential a year. So she's probably not even spending that much on clothes if that is her entire fund.
It just feels like he's mad about something else and
I have
using
no
this
idea.
as a pretext to be upset.
I agree. My husband never usually ignores me like this. We argue from time to time, take an hour or so to calm down, and then talk or apologize. This is unlike him, so I'm wondering if I did something wrong here that I'm not seeing. Comments. Comment 1 says, not the a-hole at all. You're the one who should be avoiding interaction with him until he starts acting right. OP says, I'm not usually the type to avoid interaction, and it's the same with him. We do get into arguments and disagreements from time to time, like anyone, but we usually just take an hour to calm down and collect our thoughts before we talk about it. This is genuinely so out of character for him. Comment 2 says, since I purged my closet, I actually buy less clothing. Now I only want things that go with the pared down aesthetic I've got, and I really debate purchases. I don't know if this helps. You're not the a-hole, but this may have to do with his feelings about waste. People have unexpected emotional triggers they may or may not even understand. Talk it out. OP says, I don't even buy clothes that often. Like, I have my basics covered and some statement pieces I adore. I also lived in a big-ish city most of my life and hung out with people considered more alt, so I never really bought into trends. I just don't ever go through my clothes, so I've amassed quite a lot over the years. But yeah, I'm gonna see if he's up for conversation tomorrow. Hopefully he's in a better mood because I genuinely do not understand what could even be bothering him here. And comment 3 says, not the a-hole, something isn't adding up here and it's your husband. Dig deeper. I'm sure there'll be something at the bottom of those old clothes. OP says, I packed the bag, so I don't think there's anything sinister, lol. Someone did mention the possibility of him being in debt, so I'm going to try to talk to him tomorrow, revisit our budget plans, see what's bothering him, etc. This is so out of character for him that I'm not ignoring the idea of some form of debt I don't know about. I don't think that's the case, but who knows? And there is an update. Yeah, I think there's got to be something you're not aware of.
There is a missing piece to this puzzle.
Yeah. I managed to get him to sit down to talk last night. I'm in a hotel right now, so it didn't go super well. I asked him if we could review our budget since someone mentioned the possibility of a secret debt, and others said he could be concerned about how I spend my designated personal money. We went over the budget bank statements and next year's expenses. Nothing was wrong. No weird payments, nothing alarming. Budget remained the same. I asked him what was actually bothering him about me donating old clothes. He kept giving weird excuses that didn't make sense. Things like, "You'll regret it. Save it for our future children. You really like these items and have repurchased some of them." I feel like he's talking about like underwear. He's like, "You love your underwear. And you keep getting more of it."
Stop buying underwear. Don't you know? Don't you know you don't need them?
We got into an argument, both yelling, before he finally said he wasn't attracted to me.
Oh, no. It's because you're throwing out all the clothes from when he thought you were hot. And he was like, well, maybe if those are still in the closet, she'll want to go back to that size. And now that you're getting rid of them, he's like, oh, so she's giving up on losing weight or returning back to her glory days or whatever.
This guy stinks.
What a butthole.
From when she was 18?
What a butthole.
She doesn't have the same body from when she was 18, and he's upset about that? That I was so much healthier and skinnier when we met, and I've gained weight. I cried. He apologized, said he has ROCD and gets intrusive thoughts he can't shake. That he actually does find me attractive. It's just an intrusive thought. I get that OCD and ROCD are real, but this is the first time he's ever mentioned having it, so I'm doubting if it's real. If he hid it for so many years, why now? Why not before our wedding? He doesn't go to therapy, doesn't take medication, no signs of anything. I feel super insecure in myself now. I know I've gained weight, but I'm happy about it. When we met, I was severely underweight. I had an unhealthy lifestyle. My diet was energy drinks, cigarettes, whatever dinner my parents made, and substances on nights out. Yeah.
Did you work in the restaurant industry?
Of course, I was extremely thin when we met. Now I eat balanced meals. I work out 4 to 5 times a week. I'm healthy. I've gained weight. My metabolism naturally slowed. I'm nearly 30, and I'm happy about that. I shouldn't feel insecure because a man made one passing comment. And you should never pass on full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I don't know. I guess you'll have to explore whether that ROCD is real. You know, that's kind of the big kicker, because if you're going to lie to me about that, well, what won't you lie to me about at that point?
Yeah. I also I don't know. Even if it was real, I don't know how I would ever get that out of my mind that he doesn't think I'm attractive.
Well, most people, you know, as they get older,
Yeah.
You know?
She's not going to look like she was when she was 18.
And if
'Cause
that's
she's
your
a grown woman.
idealized standard of,
Yeah.
your standard of beauty froze at 18,
Kinda
well,
weird,
you're going to be
man.
pretty disappointed for the rest of your life once you get older.
Yeah. Unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio.
But it's still creepy.
It sure is. I'm still sick, sleep deprived, and on cold medication, so I don't want to rush into divorce or make that choice right now. If I stay, he has to get professional help. If he refuses, I'll divorce. I'll see where I'm at mentally when I feel better. I'm just stressed thinking about splitting everything, and especially who keeps the cat. We adopted him together, love him equally, and that may be the hardest part. I am leaning more towards divorce. We wanted children together, which would change my body even more, and I don't want to do that for him. Someone else I love someday, sure, but not him. I feel content in not wanting kids with my husband now. Your body would change a whole lot if you got pregnant. So is he ready for that? Because I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty. That's problematic.
Pretty problematic.
You're in a problematic situation.